on about half an hour ago by my house.
Where were you at?
I'm on Worthington Ridge, but I think they were going up and down the turnpike.
Yeah, there's a bad crash at Christian Lane.
Saw the picture. Pictures from there? See pictures. You've been down there, right?
Not in a while.
People.
Damn, getting there.
Wouldn't that, don't forget that. I will get.
Rocco, 35 seconds to get here. Who was this? And,
Yeah, Rock was on his way, I heard.
Rocco's on
Yeah.
his way.
We're dialing in.
It's okay. He's alive. We have enough here? I saw Jason on election day. He was in a long line with me, everybody just standing there like this at 6:15 in the morning, nobody talking. No coffee yet.
Did he tell you then he would be here?
No, nobody said anything. Everybody was just trying to stay awake in line in the dark.
You have reforms.
Okay. Then call the meeting to order, 7 o'clock. Need approval of the minutes from October 10th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Every quick.
Audience of citizens, we have quite a few here. I don't know your first name.
Drew.
Drew
Yep.
O'Leary, okay. Newfield.
Patrick.
Patrick, holy cow, I've heard your voice many times. I remember seeing you about a year ago. Now we have Steve Hinchcliffe, right?
Yep.
And that's it, for citizens. Do we count you as a citizen?
No.
No, okay.
We do, but we don't.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we'll start with the 240 Kensington Road. And that would be whoever wants to take it away.
Mike, you want to start?
I can, you know what? Do you have the pictures?
Defer?
Yep.
I
I
did
want
bring
the
some
extra.
pictures because I don't know if any of the commission members have been down there lately for the police space. They are making progress still. The invoice for this month is probably twice the amount of the invoice from the prior month, so that was one indication that they're picking up labor. And one of the big aspects of that is the lockers arrived, so that's 100,000 plus just for the lockers that we specified. And we did have a conversation about extending their substantial completion. They were appreciative of that. Obviously, it's a no-cost extension, so they're needing to spread their general conditions out further. But there has been no reason for the delay other than their own forces. There's nothing in the change orders that's precipitated any unforeseen delays. The project has gone well as far as that's concerned. So they've accepted this no-cost extension to December 31st. Now, December 31st was a later date than they first suggested. They were suggesting the first week in December,
Right.
second week in December, because that's the date for substantial completion. Understanding that there's still going to be a punch list, I said because it's a police facility, you have a very hard time completing punch lists once you're occupied. And we don't want to have the police department move in prior to having these punch list items completed. So I encouraged them to go later, hoping that the later date, December 31st, would mean they're at a higher level of completion than just punch list work.
We're gonna have to coordinate though with the department about the punch list items, so we get them done quickly.
Yes,
Gotta make sure.
we're going to push that item to get Millennium done.
Yeah.
But there are still items that the town may have to do to integrate some of the technology. And that is a topic for tonight. We are at 80-some% complete. With every project that we always see that there's some spike at the end of the project with change orders. And that spike is for a number of reasons. It's one is that final coordination that everything has to touch and work. And there's usually a little bit of scope involved with that. It's another time when the owner has the opportunity to say, can we do this? Can we do that? We know where the contingency is. Can we act on some things? And I'd ask you to do that earlier than later if you're thinking about anything. Because the later, your next meeting's December, we don't want to spring anything on Millennium in December that they should have known about in November. So just know that's, I think you're in a healthy position, which is great. I did put out the change order log. There's been some unforeseen conditions. That's been the majority of the change order work, and that's been really the waterproofing and the structural repairs. That's been the unforeseen. The owner has had a little bit of involvement, but that's really buying FF&E items other than going out with separate vendors. And then there've been a couple items that I could say were structural or engineering related, but it's really been not a lot of noise in this project other than what you see on this paper. Now, the final touch points. And maybe Doug wants to help with some of this. We did get a cost proposal from AB and me, the electrical contractors. There is some work that has been coordinated with Doug to try to coordinate the access control of the cameras and some other miscellaneous items with access points, wireless access. The electrical contractor has submitted pricing for them to perform this work on behalf of the town. While this work looks like it's about $15,000 worth of scope, if you're looking to proceed with this, I'd like to negotiate this further with the electrical contractor, because I believe that there's scope in the project that they didn't perform that we could get credit for. So this scope, I think, is needed, and it could be done by other forces, but I think you might as well do it through the electrical contractor that's familiar with their wiring. It's really extending their scope more into the town side than was first anticipated.
So this is a request from the town side for this additional work?
Doug's been working with it. He's working with the Siemens coordination to coordinate Siemens with the access control work and coordinating the camera relocation.
What, go ahead. Just kind of, everybody's been following along the race of the game at different stages throughout the project, the owner, end user, the PD certainly. So now that we're out of turn 4 in the red zone, 17th tee, top of the 9th.
17th tee?
Everybody's walking around the space saying, oh wow, it's great, but what about A, B, C, and D? So all the owner items that were certainly spelled out in the beginning, the plan to do this, the biggest challenge is owner budget. There really isn't one, so a few times we've had to come back to reduce contingency. So now the IT is involved, the PD, the town, everybody's saying, how are we gonna move into the space, have access control, data, phone, have the new Sally Port doors open from dispatch, case cracker, the existing camera system. How is all this going to integrate and function when we move in? And right now it's not unless we do A, B, C, D, and E. Whether it's done through the project or outside of it, it needs to be integrated.
So this is not like a wish list, this is a have to do.
We have to do it whether
It's a
the
have
owner
to.
pays for it
Yeah.
from another account or it's paid through the project.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it has to be
So,
done.
yeah, and then
So,
as far as expanding on the scope, what came up with IT and the PD was basically existing conditions that called and plans and specs, just leave it, it's fine, it's working, we can build off of it, but one of the racks is above the jail cells. In order to access that now, we have to climb on top of a water heater. It's not really conducive to O&M if there's an issue. So what we thought was, let's centralize all the switchgear components so that it's either going to be in the dispatch switchgear or back in what we're building out now is a new switchgear. So that if we ever have to work on anything, it's at a central point. We don't have to really interfere. So
Is all that what you just discussed included in those numbers now?
we scrambled to get it to this point for tonight, just for your overview consideration. And like Brian said, we want to formalize this, finalize it, work through them, vet it out. Yeah. IT's been really heavily involved, knowing that, we have Norcom, we have the existing system, we have the new system, we have Siemens. So everything's ready to go, but somebody has to.
Yeah, I'm not questioning it. I agree. I've been at the end of projects and it's a shit show and you got to get it done. My only question on this is this everything?
Yeah, that's the,
Yeah, that's what we tried to get to is kind
And
of
that-
flush out, is this everything you need to move in and function? And what came up some of the walkthroughs is the sally port doors, the camera stuff. So we feel that if we have everything centrally located in a new switchgear room, this takes away any mystery down the road. It's either going to be point A or point B. Everything integrates back to it. So for future work, if we have to work on anything, it's right there.
You're just kind of cleaning up some past installations too.
No, by all means,
But
it's a renovated facility. Let's get it all on the same page.
The Motorola one is surprising. I mean, it's $7,000. What I always thought Motorola is, you can get better, but you can't get more expensive. What this is really doing is providing the dry contacts and the controls for the overhead door at the sally port, so they can be remote into the console. So the only way that the way those overhead doors are to operate at sally port is they're controlled through dispatch. Officers would radio in, dispatchers would have a view of the inside and the outside through cameras. They can see that the sally port's clear, and they are the ones that open the door for the officers. So they need that connect point for the open, close, stop per door. So that's 6 contacts that have to go back. And it appears that they don't have the capacity right now for those additional dry contacts.
when you say capacity, not enough Watson support. I mean, I don't
No,
understand that
it's,
concept.
again, it's touch points. These dry contacts are things they wire into, and then they take those wires and then integrate it into the console. But it's like a patch panel. You only have so many dry contacts. And they don't have
So you
6
basically
more.
need another board for it. No, is that in the 15 grand too or
No,
not?
that's an additional one. This is about 15 and this is 7.
Should that have been picked up in the original bid by the contractor, or did he not have enough information?
I can't have anybody touch the Motorola equipment but Motorola.
Have we had to pay Motorola for anything yet? Have we already paid Motorola? Is this the first time we paid them anything for this project?
You're paying Norcom for some work,
Work for Motorola.
and they're a Motorola.
Okay, so have we ever added any other contacts prior to this? Meaning, did we add contact
Not
Group
for this-
A and
not for
Group
this
B?
project.
None for this project, okay.
Not for this project.
So Brian, you had mentioned originally that you think that you can negotiate down the 15,000 potentially based on work that they didn't do because it wasn't required.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and do that, and then for next meeting, let's call it maybe the final number or close to the final number.
Well, if you want to say not to exceed, I'm
Yeah,
sure I
we
can get
can
these
approve-
numbers.
We can approve up to 15 or
Yeah, I
whatever
can
the
get
total
these
is.
numbers lower.
Here's my next question though, for the next 2 projects for the police station. Will all this stuff that we've done be enough to encompass the rest of the work, or will we be in the same problem when we do 2
No,
and
I
3?
think this is going to clean up a lot that needs to be done, and it's incorporating existing camera locations in this move. So if we stay to the basic numbers of cameras that in the next phase, say if we go in there and add 10 more cameras, then we need to do something back at the head end. But if we stay to the numbers of cameras that are in there, we should be fine.
How much expansion do we have? 1, 2, 3 cameras?
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe, I'm not sure of that system. I think that upgrade is going to allow for a little bit of expansion along with the access control. So as we move to the front of the building, I think we can build out this current infrastructure to accommodate anything in the
We
future.
added 16 and they have 20 now. So we're up to 36 cameras total.
And it's all compatible? We're not gonna go 6 months from now and
No,
say,
it's all-
oh, wait, this is all dead stuff, now
No.
we've gotta redo the whole system.
No, it's money well spent and it's not going to be lost.
My grandfather was a policeman in New York City in the 7th precinct. I wonder what they did in his day.
No cameras.
They were fine. They had no trouble even.
No cameras.
Walked around with batons, knew everybody.
Tap, tap.
So what's your recommendation here, Brian?
that this be a not to exceed for the electrical contractor, I have no way to
Yeah. we
alter
can't.
this number. Motorola's Motorola. They have
And we're stuck with them because we have two different.
their equipment.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere else. This has to be done by them.
Yeah, we have plenty of room, so.
Brian, the actual number like 17,000 for,
That was the
admin,
total.
yeah, I went through twice.
17.
17.
There was work in the Sallyport that they didn't perform and decided.
So there's a
they didn't
credit,
have
a
to.
possible credit to.
I've never gone out
explore.
to them for the credit until now.
Right.
So tonight, we could probably approve the 7,000 from Motorola, right? Get that off our plate. You're in agreement that the work needs to be done.
Yes.
Okay.
There has been additional conversations with the lieutenant about the casework and evidence processing. And the casework and evidence processing was a condition where the officers were to stand and do bagging and tagging of evidence before the evidence goes into the temporary evidence lockers. So we had this set up for standing positions for the officers. They would like to remove the two center cabinets so they can still have this as a countertop. But removing the two center cabinets would provide an area for stools and a seated position at the counter instead of just a standing position at the counter. We did provide a sketch to Millennium to remove two center units, and we haven't received any pricing on that. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but I just wanted to bring you up to
Are they gonna
conversation.
keep the cabinet and use it someplace else?
You own the cabinet, so
Yeah. Go into Drew's space then.
but there may be some costs. There might be some costs related with that. We haven't had any other conversations about any other items. I don't think anything else came up.
Well, if I added this up right, this ABB is 15,750.
It's the red number, so you gotta look at the numbers for the markup.
The red numbers, you gotta go with the red numbers.
Yeah.
So I have to add the red numbers in addition.
That adds to
No,
five
no, I
percent.
thought-
Yeah, after the
Direct count.
1.05, you gotta add them up. Which I did.
And what is it? How much? 17?
$17,010.
17,010. All right. Well, then if we're gonna do this, we need a motion to approve Motorola and a motion to accept Brian's
Not to
negotiating
exceed.
skills not to exceed 17.
Take the easy one. I'll
01 up.
make a motion to authorize the Motorola Solutions at $7,039.62.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Three opposed.
Good, Jim.
Okay.
Make a motion for the 17,010. 10. We approve it?
From AB and EE. Well, we're approving Brian's negotiating skills.
Well, we'll see what
He gets
comes
it.
back.
He gets the 4. Well,
Not to exceed.
go ahead and do it. If it comes in at 14, don't come back to us, just do it. You have up to 17,010.
Right.
Is that okay with you?
That's sold.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
We're all
Anything
set.
else?
We're all
on,
set with the
I
window,
guess,
right?
Drew,
Yeah,
have
because what I'm
something?
here for is in
Well,
relation
so
to the
the window.
construction project, so. All
Okay. Yeah. Cup full of seats.
right,
Yeah,
so.
come on up.
My name's Officer Joel Airy. I'm the Union Vice President for our police department. To give a little bit of context, when this project started over a year ago now, one of the big selling points, to be honest, for the officers was that there was going to be a new fitness gym space there. So it's been a very big excitement point for us. As the construction project was going along and the rooms were starting to get finished, we started to realize we weren't hearing word about any equipment in the gyms. We started asking some questions to our command staff and leadership at the police department. We recently were notified that in the planning process, whether it's planning or budgeting, that their gym equipment was not allocated within this project. So I drafted a letter here on behalf of myself, the union leadership and stuff like that for you guys to read. If you want to read it here, or I can kind of theorize it for you guys, it doesn't matter to me, but
Well, just, you can
So-
summarize it.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to ask me questions on any of this
Yeah.
stuff. It's
How
something
long
we've
have
been
you been involved with the union?
just about 2.5 years. Yeah.
So on the union issue with the police station going back 8 years, and then 5 years, and then 4 years, and then 3 years ago, the equipment for this was gonna come from the union. The union was gonna pay for it all.
Okay.
And that's what they committed to us way back 10 years ago. And then again, it was reinforced 8 years ago. And about 4 years ago, it came back and said that they'd take care of the equipment. There's reasons for that, why it had to go that way. And so that's my recollection of it. And, you know, I'm glad to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And
So if you don't mind me asking, what would be the reasoning or concern as far as that goes? Does it have to do with financing? Because obviously that's over my head and stuff. But
no, it had nothing to do with finance, it had to do with liability issues.
okay.
If
So
officers fall and get hurt in there, because we, as the town, provide the facility
yeah.
for it, and then the equipment, any of the equipment that went in the facility that was used for physical use,
Mhm.
let's say, the town becomes liable for it. And that's when the union said, well, okay, we'll pay for everything, for as far as the equipment goes. We'll provide all the connections for it, and then that equipment will be provided by the union.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure we're all on the
No,
same page. for
and
what
to
was
be
said.
completely honest with you, the more information we're getting at this point is
Yeah.
better because we've been kind of out of the loop on a lot of this stuff too, so that information is useful. As far as the liability goes, I totally understand everything. Has the topic of, and I even put this in this letter towards the bottom if you read it, after speaking to John Flynn, who's the union president, and other leadership members as well. If liability is the biggest concern, is an option of, you know, having a waiver or release on the table that the union members can review and sign upon to alleviate some of the concerns and issues for the town.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that would go back to the town attorney. So I want
Of course.
I want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But,
Yeah.
but the idea was originally is the town was going to spend all the money for the renovation or building a new police station. It was an and or back then, and the union said they'd pay for all the equipment that was going to go into the area, the gymnasium area, let's call it. And that was the last conversation that I think
And
we had
that's, I mean, this has been going on
for
we were
years.
Before I got
probably in
hired here.
sixth
Yeah.
grade when we
Yeah.
were first talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I'm not serious.
No, it's been a
No,
long
I live
time.
in town, so I remember when
Yeah.
that initial all
It's
stuff
been-
started. So
It's been a long time.
yeah.
And again, the idea is that's what we originally talked about. What ultimately is going to end up happening, I can't say.
Okay.
You know, so, but again, that was offered by the union. I don't know if they're still going to stand behind that or not, but
I can tell you, you know, on behalf of the union leadership, we have no intention as of right now
Okay.
to spend $1 to put equipment in the gym.
All right.
And that's just me being frank. You
Do you
know,
have any equipment now that's?
we have some
elsewhere?
older equipment that we had in our smaller space prior to this construction in that kind of range alleyway we had there
Yeah.
that we did save.
Okay.
So we do still have some pieces of equipment, but this new space is going to be exponentially bigger than the one we
Oh,
did.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and in the letter, there's a price tag on there. That's one quote we received. Myself and 2 other officers at our police department have kind of been fronting, reaching out. We reached out to one vendor. That was the one quote. If it's to be discussed, we would obviously go out and get more quotes, hopefully at a lower price as well. But at this point, we would love to work with the town to try to figure something out, because, you know,
Would,
if that's the agreement, which I completely understand, it's well before my time of being on the union leadership, but we don't, as of right now, the union's not intending on paying anything, and that's a newly constructed space that's gonna sit empty.
Yeah.
Which would be a shame.
it would be a
It
shame.
would be. So I'm thinking maybe if you go back to the, town council, we don't have the ability, we don't have a nickel to spend.
Yeah.
So, but if you go back to mayor or the town council to petition your
Okay.
request, they may be able to find, and this would be way smaller than we would ever get involved in, but they may be able to find funds in all
Okay.
sorts of budgets, including here. There's sort of room in the contingency, but I wouldn't want to.
No, of course, I understand that too.
count
This has
on
been a
it,
big
but-
project.
But
There's a lot
from your
of stuff.
standpoint for the project, to get something done,
Yeah.
you would have to go back, I think, to the town council.
Okay.
And I think that's I mean, I don't know what they approve in expenditures, but They spend a lot of money, so.
Well, I mean, remind me, I mean, from an FF&E perspective for the project, is it, there's essentially no equipment other than
No, Don's right. They were-
allowances. I'm just kind of reading. So nothing beyond workout equipment, beyond fitness equipment. What do we have in here for FF&E for the project for getting fitness equipment?
I think we're,
Brian can answer that better than
yeah,
I
I
can.
mean,
There was an FF&E budget presented to the council in the soft costs. I think we had $20,000 allocated. You've spent 13.5 on some of that FF&E that was in that soft cost budget was for shelving, for the evidence storage.
Yeah. I guess my only point on that is the FF&E that's included is something that the council is aware of and is part of the project. For this, for the fitness equipment, I think the council would also have to give a blessing and say, yeah, we agree that should include, fitness equipment in the budget as well. And then to your point, whether
that
we find it
yeah, I
somewhere
don't think
else.
that can be a change order though, because of liability. I think.
Well, I think-
The town council and say, look, here it is, and then.
I mean, every
Get the
gym,
town
every
attorney.
gym you go to, they're going to have you sign a liability.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look at me, I don't work out, but, down the
Come on, I've
library
seen you down there all
downstairs,
the time.
downstairs in the library,
walked by
is there a liability to use the one in the Parks and Rec building?
I don't know, is there?
I don't know.
So, I mean, if there isn't, okay, I'm not saying you guys go and use that, but what are we worried about liability for? There's that space.
If
So
you don't, if you
forgetting,
don't mind me asking, just out of curiosity from our standpoint, the liability issue, is that more so for your end as the commission, or is that more so for the town?
It's the town.
the
Okay.
town,
It's not us.
Okay.
Not us at all.
Yeah. Just so I know.
If the town attorney comes up with a waiver, you guys can sign it, he's good with it.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
for us, it's really, the first piece is the dollars and whether or not it's, approved from, dollars that we spend is really only what's approved by the town council that comes to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian,
or
what
the state
you
need.
build police stations all over. What usually happens in other towns?
9 times out of 10, the municipalities provide the space, but not the equipment. Now, that being said, I had a meeting this morning where the town of New Canaan just approved money for all new fitness equipment for their space. They did have a long conversation with Kerma, though. Kerma's the risk management
Yeah, the insurance. yeah.
insurance
Yeah.
agency. I wasn't part of those conversations, but they did have to have conversations with Kerma about exactly what you're talking about with the equipment that was being purchased. It has to be regularly maintained. It has to be, Kerma has standards that they have to meet if you're bringing new equipment in.
I know we've had this conversation before with this group, within our own group here, and it was when we were looking at building a new,
Right.
and also various renovations. And this issue is not an old issue. It's one that came up. And like I said, it was probably 8 years ago where the union said, we'll pay for all the equipment and make it that simple. Times have changed. I get it 100%. That was the last comment that was made to us. And again, the town council may say, yeah, let's do it. Or they may say, let's see what the town attorney says. I don't,
Yeah. Okay.
that's not us.
I more so just
Never-
wanted to run it by you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We've
You know,
never
you're in charge of this
focused on it
project,
because
so.
Don's right. It's something that's been, how many iterations? It's been longer than 10 years. I mean, it's been a long time. My
Yeah, it's
hair
been
was
a long
brown
time.
when we started.
And just when I said New Canaan funded their equipment, it's at the end of the project, it was not funded originally, and they did it through available contingency funds. So it's kind of a similar,
Yeah.
the police department came back, requested it, they had the conversation with Kerma and the town. It was above the building committee's
Yeah.
pay grade, and then word came back that they could do this.
So I don't think it's dead.
Mhm.
I think you just have to go through a different process and
Okay.
get it done. And I think, in terms of,
I think you're on the right track.
yeah,
Yeah.
getting it installed, I'm sure people who sell this equipment would bring their own guys in to install it. Most of
Rocky, you were
it's-
starting to say something.
I was gonna ask questions, I gotta answer them.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So I don't think we're losing anything by not doing anything now.
Mhm.
It's
100%, yeah.
relatively, basic stuff when it comes, you got great space.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a great space
Yeah,
back
so
there. So.
I think,
I'd love to see the space tricked out, but for it to sit empty is kind of a shame.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we view it too. It would be a shame.
No, it would be.
So, well, I thank you gentlemen for your time. If you
Thank
ever
you.
have any questions, my phone number's on there. You can give me a call if you ever have any questions. All right?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
But if
Thank
you
you.
wanna go back to the town, that's Brian is a good,
Who was that? Who was that?
you can talk to Brian, he's a good ally, to
Okay.
get your, you know, to get your
Thank you very much. Awesome.
pitch
Yeah, for sure.
done professionally.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Take care, Jerome.
Thanks. All right, invoices?
Well, we gotta do that change order too, gotta. finish
Change
that.
order 9, yeah.
A or B?
It's no A, no B.
What's the
Yeah.
calendar doing?
Well, it's got 9 twice.
The one that's been
Well, there are
discussed.
two
is
items,
for-
there are two items on that.
So 9A or B?
Both.
9.
Okay,
This one,
yeah.
Gotta add that to your,
Do you see the
Agenda.
change order in
I see it in this,
okay, go for it.
go for this one.
we've
Okay.
already approved it, we
Maybe
just
that-
need to do it in person.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the change order for the window infill and for the extension of time for $1,555.61.
All in favor?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute.
We never did it officially. Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did it illegally.
He gave us a nod.
You're a bad boy.
I signed it.
I
I
didn't say
think it's done already.
None.
Okay. All right, now invoicing.
Yeah, twice.
We approved the change order PCO 9.
Okay, is that next in your pile of paperwork?
No, next to my pile of paperwork is 3 invoices from Jakunski Humes, Millennium, and Tri-State.
Right, aren't they there in front of you?
Oh, well, I gotta sift through here, but I'm sure they're in here. All right, first one I have here is from Millennium Builders, amount of $691,905.81, which is, Ryan's right, significantly more than they usually bill.
Brian, you agree with that?
Yes, I signed
You
it.
signed it. Yep.
Reviewed it and signed it.
What are they on percent complete wise?
82%.
82.
That's physical work. What about billing? They're not,
So it's 82% invoiced.
it's 82% invoice, but where are they in terms of the physical work done? In other words, is the billing in line with the
Yeah.
work they've done? They finally caught up?
Make a motion, we pay it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? No. Next one I have is for
Are they all been attached here?
no, I think there's 3 of them there.
Jakunski Humes
Yeah.
should have been.
I couldn't find the tri-state one.
You know, I don't think we have one.
I didn't
They don't
see
bill every
Tri-State.
month.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
they
couldn't
kind of
find
hold their
one.
billing until they,
Lisa emailed everything. I couldn't find it.
it's a placeholder.
Oh, here's the Jakunski Humes. All right, we have an invoice from Jakunski Humes, the amount of $4,270.
I motion we, pay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then I never saw Tri-States either, so I don't know if it exists or not. I think it's just probably a placeholder for you, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Then next on the agenda is Board of Ed, HVAC upgrade.
Thanks, Brian.
Have a nice evening.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks.
Yep.
All right.
Good luck negotiating.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be easy. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Have a good night.
Brian, just shake your head and say no.
Yeah, come on up,
Well,
Patrick.
then,
Don't get
forget
the,
it's something.
don't get the towns mixed up.
Brian's got the seat heated up for you.
I'm really in the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I was early last week, so I can be late today. That was the whole.
You were a week
You were here
early.
the whole time.
No.
Oh, I knew something.
Wait, did you physically come here?
No, I
Oh.
logged in Zoom, and I was just sitting on the Zoom waiting for
I thought so, yeah, I thought it was a remote
to
attempt.
log in.
I was in London last week.
You know,
I gave you a gold star, you saw
I
that,
know, it was
right?
Awesome. A week early.
Yeah.
Late tonight, so.
So elementary schools? Yes, all right.
Well, I'm not
Patrick?
talking about it, so.
Yep,
Patrick, you're on.
We had our weekly meeting yesterday, and I visited the school today just to see what the conditions look like. I can confirm that they fully pulled off site. They've restored the asphalt sidewalk. They've patched back permanently, regraded, removed their construction pad. They did not get to seeding in time before we hit this drought, though. So we pulled back from their billing. They're at 50% for the reseeding grass area because they did have to do the hill where the tree is in between. But around the area where the chillers are in the enclosure, it's graded dirt right now. They attempted to seed, but
It's too late.
Yeah.
Seed would be total-
they put it down weeks
have to
ago
do
at
it
this
again.
point, but it's just.
Well,
Bad
doesn't the
timing.
spec require them to water it so it germinates regardless of the rain?
They're gonna do it again this
I
spring. They've
understand that,
already,
but-
but it's with where we are right now.
No,
you
I
would've-
know, but it does say water it.
You're correct.
correct.
You're
The
correct.
problem's gonna be at the baseball people, and now they're gonna start parking over there, because it's all dirt, it looks like a dirt parking lot for the baseball field.
you can have Woody put up some stakes with
Yeah,
flags.
we're gonna have to put something up
Okay,
there.
fuck that.
3 orange cones, see how long they last.
Right. 'Cause it
Yeah.
just looks like a
I
big
don't think
parking
they'll
lot.
put too much of a fight up if they have to regrade a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think they gotta
Seed.
regrade, just rake it out.
Well, if it like fine grading like
Right.
that, if it becomes disturbed from parking.
Right, if it's muddy and stuff, I'll dig it up again, but it's so
Yeah.
dry now, it's like a hard
if anything, I'll blow away.
So basically, as far as the actual construction, we're down to a few minor punch list items and completing the installation on the piping outside the chiller. It's largely complete, and what it comes down to, where we have balancing shutoff valves. There was a scope dispute internally with their subcontractor about insulating the buffer tanks outside. They're actually in the process of cutting loose their original installation contractor and signing up another contractor who I'm actually have great experience with to just get this last few things out of the way. And that's kind of the nagging thing is this insulation. The installations, pipe installations holding up, finalizing labeling on the insulation valve tags, and then finally mechanical inspection, which will basically complete the construction portion of the project. Friar's actually already issued the substantial completion letter. It's basically, we're there. So other highlights we have, the issue came up with a pump, one of the pumps with the chilled water. They need to replace it. That's happening on Monday, actually. I think it's Armstrong Pumps and MSI. Their rep is going to be there Monday. We have worked out with the school to be there at 6 a.m. and hopefully it's less than 3 hour duration to replace that.
I think they deferred training, I think part of the training too.
So that's what I was trying to clarify on the phone is what they were asking about deferring some of the training to when we commission in the spring. And I was trying to clarify what that is. Is that the water treatment? And I was in my car, so I was having a hard time. Did Russell clarify if it was just the chiller or the water treatment also?
Yeah, both items. We just asked for more of a quick overview of all the new components, just so you know, for awareness.
I mean, either way, we hold those lines on the pay up until it's done, is what it comes down to. And I think that for the most part, Allstate's been pretty fair on what they're holding back. They haven't, I haven't, through the course of the project, had to come back to them with comments too much, other than the seating one for this one. They were ready to accept that pretty easily. Balancing, they said they were going to take another week for balancing, but my discussion with the foreman today was they're nearly done.
Yeah, I think he said 2 days, something
Yeah.
like that. They're almost done.
Yeah, I think they actually knocked it out last night, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 unit vents they didn't get to. And the insulation line
Russell had sent a 3-week look ahead, and it was way long. I had a discussion with their office. They're really, it's more of a 2 or 3 days left of work that they have on site. So, I mean, really, they're going to be wrapped up and done largely outside of commissioning by the end of the next week, I would say.
Yeah, they had a back cover they had to put in that they added, they were priming and painting that, right?
Yeah,
That's a.
that was put in the other night.
Oh, was? Okay.
Yeah. The read I got from the gentleman I talked to at Allstate today was that PM has been overly conservative with the next few things they have to do. Really, they'll be done next week. Now, we still have the commissioning to do. We still have training, so there will still be open pay after that. They won't be done totally with the project to close everything out.
There's still the chiller side of that, right?
That's what we're talking about with the commissioning. We hit, there were some straggling parts that didn't come in time from
Yeah, I
Beacon.
saw that.
Yeah.
Are they
And we
in?
missed the cooling season commissioning. I mean, yeah, it's been warm and we could have bumped and we could have started and everything, but it wouldn't have been right for the town, and Allstate agreed to that too. The commissioning agent saw that everyone's agreeing that we just do it in the spring, late May probably, when you get an actual load on it.
Yeah.
Or it'd take 2 days.
Probably somewhere around there. It's checking out.
Yep.
They've done a lot of the checkout already. But you want to get a loading system, see what the unit vents are doing. ABS, the controls contractor, will need to be involved. And there's only so much you can do in a couple hours after the school, the kids are there, between when the kids aren't there anymore and then it just naturally starts cooling off during the day.
Right.
That's what we're going to be up against. Otherwise, it would probably be a day if we had.
Yeah, just find a half day.
Yeah. At the same time, we just want to get it done.
Right.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything to touch on. Did you, Mike or Doug,
No,
recall
no.
anything from the call yesterday?
No noises from anybody. That's always a good sign.
Well, what we did have on Monday, which is kind of leading up to part of the issues with the insulator, they showed up on site unannounced during the school day. They had requested permission to work from Allstate. That was not granted. And they came in anyway and started trying to do some work.
And then they propped open the doors, which pissed off security.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it became
I
a
read
big
that,
thing.
yeah.
So they're, yeah, ASC is not too happy with the insulator,
Yeah.
the original insulator. So
Which
And they
they're
replaced
the
them?
switch.
they're in the process of cutting
They're in
ties. They're at the end of their contract and started a new contract. Langen Installations, the new insulator they're trying to work a deal with.
Okay.
Oh, they're good people.
Yeah, I have a
before.
couple of jobs with Langen and they've been fantastic.
I think that's it. Anything else? on
Anybody
that?
else? Anything to add?
So the
Other Mike?
strainer and the 3-way valve are.
It's in, and that's I was there today, and that's what the hiccup was with the insulation. That's where we kind of lost the insulator, was when they couldn't just keep going. And that happens with trades. If you get something in the way, they pull off site and it's weeks later and it's hard to restart.
Doug, you happy with everything? You're the one that's gonna own it.
Yeah, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's, looking forward to it, the staff, the end users, the teachers, they're looking forward to having their new cooling.
Good.
Overall, there's only been a few rooms where ABS just working on some valve calibration. But other than that, overall it's pretty good. They got the memo, the directive from Russell on the control sequence and what the design criteria was, so everybody's starting to adapt to it.
And the heating side's working good.
Yeah, it's, nobody's cold, a few rooms got hot a few days. But, with the shoulder season being extended, that's where we saw without having the chiller online. We kept the porta cools in a little bit longer and it got them through and we're good now. So.
Okay.
One down, 2 to go.
That's right.
And so those portacles we're gonna need.
Yeah, repurpose them for the next two.
Next to.
That's right.
Yep.
They've come in handy, and they will continue.
We got our money
Anything else for
spent.
Patrick? We can
Yeah.
let him go home.
Great job, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Thank you,
painful at
gentlemen.
all, was it?
What was that?
Wasn't painful at all.
No.
Well, when you basically say it's almost complete,
I mean, we really are done basically.
Yeah,
It's just
I
these
know.
couple of nagging things on every project that just gotta sort through. And now
It's good to see you in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's nagging me about the other two.
Well, hopefully we'll see you for the next two, so.
Is that something you wanted me here for? Or? No, I mean for the meeting
Griswold and Hubbard,
Yeah.
there's,
There's
Well,
bills.
Fryer and CES are working on them. I know there's been, and I sent to you and Brian, the, back and forth on, and Doug's been aware of it, the chiller layouts, and there's like 3 different configurations that they're working on. But I think after that, I think the civil engineer has already done a limited survey of Griswold. So they're getting there, but they're not producing any work product yet, so.
That's was my only question. When do we anticipate getting a usable product that we can get out the bid?
They've been dodging the question, so I'm
Okay.
gonna have to go back.
That
and-
sounds like
It's working.
I have a feeling in the next
March.
by the next
Feeling-
meeting, there
feeling
should be
March.
work product that's coming out, and you'll get that beforehand.
I guess that our question would be, what's your timeline for deliverables from us?
On that,
Yeah.
once the drawings and specs are ready, I think Brian said it wouldn't take you guys too long to
No,
put the,
it wouldn't.
the upfront
So that's what
section.
we were talking about in the office today, from when we get the green light to
Yeah.
when we would be ready to put it out on the street.
Yeah.
We'd like to have 6 weeks to go much faster.
We're gonna miss the whole summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No matter what, we're missing the summer.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't see, if they don't have the drawings to give to us now, by the time they get it to, let's call it a biddable condition, that we can get them
God,
out.
I was hoping we'd get the summer.
We were hoping
Jeez.
by December we'd have.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it right now, because if they won't even tell you an idea.
Yeah.
Well, they're
that's
dodging. They're dodging.
Well, I
What
mean,
is that?
same
I'm
thing.
gonna start pushing, because right now, I even said like for the bill, that's why I sent you guys those chiller layouts, so you can see there is work going on, but as far as drawings and specs and draft form, we
Is
haven't
that- is
gotten
that
anything.
because they're busy swamped and the economy has picked up? You guys might know, are you guys busy?
Well,
You've been in the
what we
past?
have seen estimating across the board throughout the state is with the ARPA funds, the deadline's coming up.
Oh, that's right.
You have,
Yeah.
it's become a zoo out there with bidding
Everybody's
right now.
crunching.
I wouldn't care, but we started this process a long time ago. We
So
should have all our drawings in hand by now, we don't.
So that's where we were concerned is if you're going for ARPA funds, you would likely have to have a commitment by the end of the year. So
Oh.
I don't know where we all align up.
We're not.
Don't worry about ARPA.
Okay.
Actually, that's another item. It got swapped out.
I know.
So basically, the
Okay.
bond money from the PDs went in and took the unobligated ARPA funds. Actually, all of the ARPA funds that weren't used, and now they're in the PD project.
We're actually seeing where this deadline is causing problems for competition, being competitive bids.
Yeah.
It's just with all the trades seeing all of these projects coming up and the timelines, their prices are
Jacking the
going up
prices.
by a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking it'd probably be a March, April timeline before we can really go out to bid. We're gonna miss the summer. And it will be, we'll get it all out to bid, but it may help us,
If we
and
can get
then
out the bid, we can get stuff ordered at least and have it
Maybe.
all ready.
we will see what the pricing comes in at, yeah. But I'm thinking that
Well,
if we
chillers
miss
take
this
care.
summer, I don't know how much we can get done.
What we're kind of all waiting on is from hear back from the state. I mean, they put a 2025, December 25 substantial completion, but if the whole state is fighting for all this equipment and all the A&E firms, that at some point it would almost seem that they have to extend this out.
For everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Yeah.
have if we have a 1 year lead time on switchgear and components, and chillers are 5 to 10 months. I mean, I think it's going to get pushed out. But I mean, from the board side, they're prepared to shut down both schools for 2 consecutive summers. They wanted whatever works out best is decided by the commission. It doesn't make sense to buy out both projects at once. They're not going to stand in the way of getting anything done. It's just the logistics end of it, the procurement, the bidding, the state paperwork.
And where I am, when everyone's sitting in this room, we released these schools to be designed a long time ago. And we should have had our drawings by now. So.
Do they have any contractual obligation?
Not really, because it was all kind of like informal proposals. So, but I'll start pushing.
Is there any way, any kind of fire we can light?
Well, again, I think we missed the window. Is the problem.
That's right.
No matter what we do now, I think we missed the window. And the window would have been the middle of the summer to get it out to bid. This past summer, and it would put us in good shape for the next few years. So, it is what it is. We just got to get the drawings done and get it out for pricing. So. We'd like to get them done too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we have our deliverables still, so it's putting the bid package together, and part of that is putting a schedule together, a bid schedule.
Okay.
So, I mean, what we could do to maybe possibly aid the situation is if you give us a date that you need us to be ready, we put it into the schedule, we turn around to Fryer and CS and say, you guys have to have your documents into Newfield clean 100% on this day. And that's where you can kind of establish.
If we don't have a contractual date with them,
Well,
I know, but
Yeah. but they did
It
have
gives them a
some.
real, more of a deadline that is supposed to now,
Yeah.
whenever you're done.
right.
We don't have a contract, like an end date in a
Yeah.
contract, but we do have their estimated timeframes for
we
completion.
have durations. that we
Yeah,
bought from
right.
them, I thought.
We do
They're
have
way
duration.
outside those
They are.
durations now.
So I think maybe highlighting those and sending them to
To
them might be.
remind them, by the way.
Yeah, say, by the way, you said 6 weeks or 8 weeks, it's been 3 months.
A strongly worded letter.
Yeah. Or just PPC is a little anxious and
Yeah.
they expected them last month and you haven't even given us a completion date. So,
And
We'll
if
press
you-
them for a date.
Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, you guys to prep everything, get it out to bid, it's gonna take how long?
It's
So let's say it takes you a month. I'll just go crazy to get everything together. Then how long do we soak it for? 6 weeks?
I mean, 6 weeks is plenty of time.
Okay.
That's us being very comfortable at 6 weeks.
All right.
We could do it at 4.
And when you get responsible pricing, that's the issue.
Yeah.
We want the low guys.
Yeah.
To show up. We don't want them
Yeah.
missing us. Because someone will throw out a flyer and no one else will bid it, and the flyer will stick. So.
Yeah. All right.
okay.
Thank you
Maybe
very
I'll
much.
coordinate with strategy on you to push the designers. Yeah. We can use you as a,
I like it.
little stick.
I like it.
Yeah, okay.
What's his name first?
All right.
It's
Thank you,
Don's
John.
name, too.
Thanks, Patrick.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Patrick.
Have a good one.
See you back here. Now they'll send back their check.
Yeah.
Mine.
So, just following up, the town council approved the ARPA swap on Tuesday. So that's, and there shouldn't be, Kevin's gonna take care of all the swapping with the PO account numbers and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
there'll be no change with respect to,
The
paying the
dollars all
bills.
stay
Right.
remain the same.
Yeah.
Perfect.
so we're good. And you didn't have to vote or make a motion, so.
Perfect.
Or understand.
I like that even better.
All right. Then we're on to invoices. So the first one I have is Newfield Construction invoice for $20,388.50. Monthly invoice. I have a motion.
Make a motion, we pay the invoice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
It was consistent.
Always one.
And then we have an invoice from Allstate for $83,924.90. Signed off.
I'll motion we approve that.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. And then we have two invoices from Fryer.
3.
One free school.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What percent complete are those guys?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Fryer's actually been pushing. They're pushing CES, which is good.
Well, on the Willard HVAC, they have billed $900, which brings them to $29,170 against a budget of $30,340.
I'm fine with that one.
So they're $1,000 from the end. Have a motion on that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And for all the work they've done on Griswold, their current billing is for $5,740, which brings the total to date of $9,900 against a budget of $30,070.
Now, that's got the surveying, but not the
And
zoning, right?
according to this, it's construction documents and a limited area survey.
Right.
I think they included
The surveyor.
yeah, this Benish, is it
Right.
Benish?
Yeah, but they didn't do the design on it. They just did the survey.
Right.
That's for both those schools. Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the third one for Fryer is for Hubbard, $5,670. Again, the same thing, $3,900 for construction docks, $1,770 for the limited survey. The total bill will be $9,830 against a contract of $34,070.
So nowhere.
The same, yeah.
Right.
Nowhere with two.
That told me right there, they haven't done it.
I know, that's what I just said. Nowhere with two. Make a motion, we pay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What are you opposed? Okay.
When do we issue that contract? Should say on there.
End
July,
of
5 months.
maybe August?
August.
Was it end of July, I think?
I thought it was somewhere.
Yeah, it
around
was
there.
some, let's say, beginning of August, say. So 3 months.
90 days.
And then we have two invoices from SES. Well, let's see. First one is for $1,500. And all it says is
August.
commissioning services. So I
From
don't know.
August.
There's two bills, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the second bill, that was an older bill from August, and the bill from,
This one.
I guess it's October, $750.
What's your total contract say?
Well, it's 15,000 and bill to date is 6,000. They have 9,000 left. And on the other one, it's 15,000. They billed to date 6,750, or 6,000 previously billed. They have 8,250 to go.
Making a motion, we pay both invoices.
Second.
You're okay with these stuff, right? That you would-
Yeah.
They
yeah,
send
so-
them to you,
Yeah,
so.
the lion's share is gonna be in the spring for the
Right.
children.
Motion.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Berlin High School slab moisture review.
No. Sorry, you
No.
have CES there, don't you?
I don't have it on your,
I know, but my boss stuck them in there.
Oh,
Is that-
yeah.
Those are
Sorry.
ones
Do we
that
need a
came in
motion to
today
put
for
them
three.
in?
Sorry
End of
about
the year?
that. Well, they were the ones I was trying to get the additional comments about what they actually did. They just.
I make a motion, we put them into the agenda.
Second.
And all I see is zeros on all the whole damn thing.
Well,
Here's the back
yeah, page 2.
This is their description of what they did?
No, they
didn't put
sent
anything?
it after the fact on an email.
Oh.
No, they didn't. I actually rejected those invoices initially and said, listen, can you add some notes so the PBC can see what you did? And the lady never sent it back to me, so I asked today for the note, and the guy from
Well, I'll
CES.
send it back to them because there's no damn notes in.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that might get their attention. It's up to
a
you.
one-liner on email.
Yeah.
I thought I might have printed that email, but what'd she say?
Well, it was
Stuff.
actually Eric from CES. Basically, they went out to visit the schools with Fryer to map out the chill locations, and then they're going back and forth with Fryer on the, and I've seen the back and forth, and so has Doug,
That's more than one
about
line.
different chiller. I'm giving you what I
Here
know.
it is. CES
I'm giving you more than they gave me, which is
CES
ridiculous.
Has visited the site with civil engineering to coordinate location of chillers. We've also been reviewing and updating our drawings in order to confirm adherence to updated CT building code requirements.
Thank you, Rocco.
My only request
I
would
can
be to
read
make
it.
sure they put it on the invoices going forward.
Yeah.
Because if it's audited, that note will,
Right, that'll be
Right.
gone forever.
Right.
so. I make a motion, we pay.
Under protest?
With duress.
Under duress.
With reservation.
Yeah.
Vote,
Yes.
both invoices for each school. There, one is,
One's for Griswold, one's for Hubbard.
Does it say?
He's gonna do it.
Lisa's confused.
Start over.
Start over. I need a motion to approve a payment of $4,200 to CES for Hubbard School ventilation.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to pay $4,200 for ventilation units for Griswold. Actually, Mary Griswold to be technical.
Make a motion, we pay it.
Second?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Now can I go to the select moisture review?
I believe that's all.
I think we
the
think it's, yeah,
invoices
we think
that
that's it.
came through.
Steve, you sure you want to join this group?
I'm listening
They're
intently.
very unruly.
Lot of paper flying right now.
Slab moisture review. Who wants to speak up?
Yeah, the consultant, they have information they needed. They also received, they're able to get the plans and specs and everything else from the architect electronically. So that's been shared. So they're just a work in progress. We're waiting to hear back on any updates, any review, any further information needed, any recommendations. So it's still pending.
So we're,
Are they going to
In
the
progress.
site or are they
In
going?
progress.
I saw emails going back and forth, so something's happening.
Yeah, it's good. He's got everything electronically. Finally, we have everything electronically. So everything we've been chasing for a long time since.
of course, it hasn't rained in 2 months now.
So he's threatening to do something.
He's actually, he is doing something. Not threatening. He's actually in motion. They're engaged.
They're actually pretty good.
It took a while though. I mean, the back and forth to get all the stuff. And by the way, I saved all that in one of our
Yeah,
directories.
we're trying.
Yeah.
We're putting everything on drives.
Yeah,
and trying
it's all the stuff that he.
We had to go to
gave.
Gilbane, I know.
Yeah, it was
all over the
Yeah,
So that-
SPA was great. They shared everything, and then
Gilbane never gave you a drive?
we had FIP. Gilbane gave us everything. It's all paperwork stuff, but we don't have what we got from FIP. We got phase 1 and CDs, O&Ms, but for some reason I looked through everything. Like, I don't know what phase 2 is. So they were wonderful. FIP and SPA both gave
You
us
got everything you
Yeah, we
needed?
got.
Okay,
They
good.
were great. And then Gilbane is since moving.
If anybody sees Jim Ouellette, tell him Doug said SBA was wonderful. He won't believe it.
They were
I think he's hallucinating or something.
Yeah.
they're happy to
Give
help
Doug
us out.
another beer for crying. All right, next, McGee, science classroom.
Still, yeah, work in progress. They're regrouping now with some changes and
Okay,
staff to
good.
help gather all the
That's what we need to
information.
Berlin Peck Memorial Library roof replacement.
It's good. Yeah, the JHA and Environment were out. They did the test cuts, the roof survey. We got 1 square foot of ACM on some roof cement over the library.
1 square foot.
Yeah, so
Really?
Yeah, no catastrophic
Okay.
environmentals to deal with. So they're working on their plans and specs to get the bid package.
And that's
drafted.
both buildings, right?
Correct, both. Yep. So 1 project, 2 sets of drawings as one to bid it out,
That's a student
Good.
project.
and that'll come back to you guys. We anticipate first part of the year, hopefully early.
February, May?
Yeah, I think the goal is to, similar to other projects, the recommendation is we put it out there, ask for so many calendar days, and then give the contractor the option to complete it within the calendar year, but whether they want to do it in the spring or the fall, just to help with the pricing, that we don't put the pressure on to be done by a certain date, as long as it's done by the fall of 25, and allow them the option to either do it in the spring before the summer work or after the school work in the fall.
It's just, we just gotta stay out of the cool period.
Yeah.
Those shingles, the way they work, I know the drill.
We want to make sure they
They
they're
adhere.
set good, yeah.
Yeah.
But certainly it's going to be based on your recommendation, and once prior to bidding, you'll see all the package and anything we want to.
Do they put their schedule in when they do their proposal, or do they get the proposal and they set a schedule?
Typically, we've seen calendar days because based on the weather, it's hard to,
Right.
if it moves out. But we can add that in however you feel is best.
I'd put it in, just be complete by September,
Yeah, that's
the
what
end
we
of
usually do.
September.
September 30th,
Yeah.
October 15th, something like
That's
that.
fine.
They give us their calendar days and then all the allowances for any decking and what they found. But it looks pretty clean. Just with ice and water, we have tar paper and shingles. So strip re-roof, any kind of sheathing that needs to be done. And but they are gonna include soffits, fascia, stuff with the Yankee gutters over there. So try to address everything in its entirety as part of the project. So
Got enough bidders almost in town
yeah,
for that work.
a little bit of flat work next door. But yeah, it's a good shingle job for those that are into that.
Well, I have some extra roll roofing and waterproof membrane from a roof I put over a wood pile. Probably 20 linear feet.
We're thinking
By
Flex Seal.
4.
Yeah, just don't use those Dollar General rollers. The solvents, they
Slap it
just
on.
fall apart like in seconds.
Who's the guy that does those commercials? I laugh my ass off.
All right, next item.
Speaking of falling apart,
Yeah, next item.
Which track is this? Berlin School track?
Nothing new to report on my end. Do you know anything about that?
Timberland Golf Course.
I know Woody's.
Came up in Capital today, the Capital meeting, that I think there was 2 proposals came back for 2 options, asphalt versus post-tension, anywhere from 800 to $1 million for the 2 minutes, and then I think right around 1.3 for the
1.3, that's right, yeah.
post-tension. So that's presented to the Board of Finance members today during a Capital meeting, so wheels will be in motion for that through the process.
Those guys will be thrown up.
Didn't we do the track in this town? Certainly since I moved here.
Yeah, we did.
Like more than once?
Where
Yeah.
is that? I think Woody said it was resurfaced 7 years ago.
We redid the one at Sage and the one at the high school. I thought we did 5 years ago.
Yeah, we did one.
it was more than that, because Lou
I
was.
think it was 7.
Lou and I
Seven.
shared
7
it.
or 8, yeah. Woody gave us that timeline. Nothing, yeah. That's what it is.
Timberland bunkers.
So it's not here.
I can add some information on that. The golf course got permission to award a contract to a design firm on Tuesday. $30,000. They have a professional. It sounds like the golf commission and Saul, the director, and you had maybe previously used this design firm. So they're good. So they're proceeding. So Saul won't come back. And I talked to Saul about when to come back. I said, well, once you have your conceptual design, and the golf course designer can probably put something together that might fulfill the statement of need for you guys. But what do you want to see? Do you want to see the actual drawings, or do you want to see a statement of need before the drawings?
I would say a specification, exactly what they're planning on.
Okay,
doing
so
would
really
be-
more detail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just cut sheets of what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
As far as overall,
We're gonna need to at least look at what the heck we're approving.
We're not gonna manage it, we're just making sure he's got the stuff.
yeah.
I thought we were gonna administer the disposition of the funds.
It may go through. us, I don't
Vaguely,
know.
I have a vaguely specific recommendation that, we're gonna give the money out. That's the whole purpose. Rather than let Mike and Doug do it.
We don't want to do it.
Do we wanna do it?
That's a problem. I don't
We
think
don't wanna
anyone
do it
wants to
either, but it's not a building, but
I
I
don't
think
like to be
that's
in
the
the
whole
bunkers, I like to
purpose.
stay.
You want to stay on the fairway?
We could put a nail on them for you.
Yeah, so when do we golf to test out the bunkers, right?
That is a good point.
Well, I know they were talking about not doing all of them. So he needs at least a plan to show which ones he's doing and which ones he's
Make it
not.
like a links course, fill it in with tall grass.
All right.
No, that ain't a mow it.
Okay, so it's underway.
What about the bridges?
No action.
It should be-
They're focusing on the bunkers
Yeah,
right
those
now.
bridges are gonna take
I believe it's gonna be Eagle Scout.
True.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Army Corps will like that.
Maybe the bunkers can.
Hey, we can do use of an Eagle Scout at Garrett and Colchine.
Yeah.
If you're running that, talk
Yeah.
to Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne.
Any
Wayne
new business?
clue me on a few things.
Oh, good. Any old business? Senior center status? Any?
Bart, you know anything?
No. Last I heard they were working on the pool, and the
So why?
PlayStation, but not this one.
And you have the Berlin High School closeout, do I have to say it?
$2 million. Where is it?
So nothing there.
I think they're important.
Nope. My money.
Okay, Don, your favorite motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All
They
in
want to
favor?
stay.
Aye. Okay. Anybody opposed?
Happy Thanksgiving all. Enjoy.
All right, you too.
Same to you guys. Take care. Take my paperwork.
Yep.
Good, yeah.
I watch these guys.
So we're gonna talk to Mayor Mike?